What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of RGTP. I am your host, Lewis, and with me, as always, with a kind of a plain-looking shirt,
It's
Mamba.
you know
Mamba, how we doing today?
color.
So, simple. I'm the guy with the shirt this week.
I've actually been watching baseball videos, and right, isn't that weird? Like, I know nothing about baseball, next to nothing about baseball, right? But learning about some of these players, bro, I'm like, God, I don't even understand what's being said, but even I know it's like, wow, that's crazy,
What have you learned? Let the audience
Randy
know.
Johnson, monster pitcher.
Yep,
A
the
monster. Jonas Cespedes,
unit.
that man is wild. He's a great baseball player, but like his off the field tactic, he's got some stuff.
He was a Red Sox for a little while. Yes.
Yep. Kyle Schwarber.
Also from Red Sox.
Yes.
Yep.
And then there was one more player that I can't remember. I can't remember.
Mamba with the baseball knowledge, but don't worry. That's not what we're here to talk about today. As today, we're going to pivot to the gift that keeps on giving its NFL off season. We're only a matter of weeks away until the NFL officially kicks off.
Yeah.
We already seen the schedule. We talked about the schedule release here. We are going to be talking about some quarterbacks, namely the second-year quarterbacks. It's been a little while. Basically waited the entirety of the season, waiting for the draft, waiting for some OTAs. There's quite a bit more of information. Basketball is going to take just a bit of a back seat this week as we continue to wait for any Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant. And some Kyrie Irving.
Real quick, did you see the four-team trade that was proposed on ESPN?
By Bobby Marks?
Yeah.
That was
pretty interesting.
Horrible. Yeah. That was dog water. Anyways, hopefully they don't do any kind of trade like that because it just does not look good. Nonetheless, we are here to talk about the second-year quarterbacks. It was an interesting draft class last season. This year we had another set of quarterbacks that obviously went, but wasn't as highly regarded. And now we wait for the 2023 quarterback draft prospects. I believe the top 10 list just got released. I believe it was headed by Bryce Young from Alabama as number one. No surprise to anyone in that regard. But nonetheless, NFL quarterbacks, we had 6 names of the 5 we originally thought were pretty much the facing. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones were the 5 names that everybody was for sure was going to happen. They were basically the headlines of the draft outside of a few obvious other amazingly outstanding players. I'm looking at you, Jamar Chase. Have yourself a season, my boy.
Have another one.
And Micah Parsons. There was quite a few, but it was the quarterback draft, and then these 6 quarterbacks who sneak his way in there with his long-ass neck was Houston's very own Davis Mills. And what better place to start than the guy that came out of nowhere, Houston's very own Davis Mills. Now, poor Davis Mills has not been in the most, the best situation. Let's just be honest. The Deshawn Watson thing has been horrible. Now the Texans might be held accountable. Trading away D-Hop, bunch of injuries, first-year head coach and immediately fired. It is just ugly.
A dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire. A 4-13 record. Hasn't been amazing
Probably
for them.
That again. If we're being real.
Yes, but Davis Mills did start 13 games for them. A lot of people do tend to forget Tyrod Taylor was there for a little while. Another poor guy that lost his starting job to yet another rookie. But thoughts on just Davis Mills' rookie season in Houston as a whole?
I guess not shocking, but shocking at the same time, right?
Yes, there's shocking.
When he was drafted and leading up to that draft, I did see videos where they were talking about he was highly recruited, but I think injuries happened or something happened at Stanford where it was like he didn't get to play as much, right? So there was always that question mark, but he has showed like there is a reason why I was touted as well as I was coming out of high school, going to college. And my college career wasn't as what people wanted. I'm here now. I'm in the NFL. I'm a starting quarterback. I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep that job, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not, Jamarcus Russell, just seen a quote by him. He was like, you're going to call me a bust? At least put the biggest in front of that. You know, like, love
at
the
least
confidence.
somebody can embrace it.
Love the confidence, right? But Davis Mills seems like a solid starting quarterback. Like, they won 4 games. I think we were all expecting maybe 1 win out of that team. They won 4. That's pretty impressive. I know it's only 4 wins, but nobody was counting on them to win anything, you know. And yeah, he's in a tough spot, but that's how some of the best players are made, right? You get thrown in the worst situations, toughest situations, you come out better because of that.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be an interesting place. Obviously, as you know, no Deshawn, but in the Deshawn deal, they were so confident in Davis Mills that they didn't bother taking back Baker Mayfield's contract to have him be sort of the placeholder quarterback until they got done. So there is some faith in Davis Mills as he, obviously loses DeAndre Hopkins over the last few seasons, which is going to be tough, but still has a.
He never got to play with him.
No, but I mean,
having him would have been nice with Cooks.
They
were able to get Mechie as well. That
exactly.
They got, it'd be some nice weapons around him. But
would have had something. But the team just continues to lose player. D-Hop, Deshawn, JJ, Justin Reed just left in free agency to the Chiefs. They're just in total rebuild mode right now. Trying to stockpile and see guys like John Mechie that they just drafted, see what he can do, especially coming off of injury. Brandon Cooks is obviously a legitimate wide receiver.
We both know about Brandon Cooks. My team drafted him, traded to you. We know about some Cooks.
He's a legitimate wide receiver. And again, they were so confident in Davis Mills. They didn't make any plans on drafting one of the top 5 quarterbacks in this year's draft. Their first round pick went to Stingley. Did they take Stingley at number 3?
Yes, they did.
I believe that was,
Yes, they did.
So obviously,
best player in the draft,
defensive side of the ball. So there is some sort of faith that Davis Mills can do something. This division doesn't have a world beater in it right now. Jacksonville, we're gonna talk about in a little bit. Obviously, in a rebuild mode. The Colts, we'll have to wait and see. The last few seasons have been borderline playoff team. Obviously, getting to the playoffs with Phillip Rivers in 1 year. Let's see how it is. And then, obviously, Tennessee had a terrible season worth of injuries and a very embarrassing playoff loss. So, there is still hope down there in the AFC South for Davis Mills and the Texans.
That's some hope, but, some. It's better than none, right?
It is. I have some of his stats here. Let me see. He did throw 16 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Not the greatest ratio ever.
He had over 2,000 passing yards, right?
He had 2,664. So he was able to move the ball around quite a bit at a 66.8% completion percentage, which isn't horrible. Mid-60s, high 60s, able to complete passes at a reasonable rate. Obviously, without having much to throw. The cabin is very bare down there in Texas, but a 35.5 QBR rating. That's on a scale from 0 to 100. 50 being average, so he was quite below average.
It's a bad team, though.
Exactly. There is not a lot you can do to sort of counter out.
Let me ask you this:
how it's going to work for him?
Did they drafted a running back this year, right? Did they get Kenneth Walker?
Yes, no. Kenneth Walker is in Seattle. They grabbed something not Pierre. Pierce?
No.
I can't remember his name.
Okay.
I can't remember his name.
Dude out of Florida?
I have seen him quite a bit.
Okay.
Yes. I can't remember his name, though.
That's been the one thing for the Texans. Since Arian Foster's has been gone, their running back is who? And if you want your quarterback to play well and get him some people who can run the ball, right? It opens up the pass if you have a running back or even multiple running backs. So just continue to get as much around him as possible. Weapon-wise, their O-line, they got Tunsil and Howard, I believe people are very high on. And then the others are kind of question marks, but, maybe they can come together as a unit. That's what they're supposed to do, but it's the Texans if we're being real.
It'd be like that. And from the quarterback that went out of nowhere to the quarterback that we've seen the least of. Oh, I'm looking at you over there in San Francisco, hiding in the Bay. Mr. Trey Lance is set to be taking over snaps under center for the San Francisco 49ers. But what Trey Lance are we getting? The man has played 6 games, only has 603 passing yards at a 57.7% completion percentage. Not that high, not the lowest amongst all the rookies, but he didn't really qualify anyways.
He had 15 passes?
It wasn't a bunch. It definitely wasn't a bunch. 15 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Obviously, lower end QBR due to the fact that he did not have
15 total touchdowns.
5 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. My bad.
Oh, I was like, yo,
he did rush for a few. But a lower end QBR, 33.4, but a 97.3 quarterback rating. So there is some promise there. There is some flashes. Obviously, the biggest thing coming out of North Dakota State for him was the fact that he had not played in 360, I think it was like 64 days before the draft, almost an entire year without him taking any snaps, having any real film coming out of the draft. It was really just sort of combine stats, interviews and Zoom calls, and sort of
previous when he had no interceptions.
And we're looking at the 49ers, who are one of the few teams on this, really the only other team, once we talked about Patriots and Mac Jones, that actually made it to the playoffs with a 10-7 record, getting all the way to the NFC Championship game. Just a couple plays away, really, from locking up another Super Bowl appearance for Jimmy Garoppolo, but banged up injuries for him. A lot of injuries have derailed this team over the last few seasons. Obviously, they lost Bosa, they lost Kittle, they lost Garoppolo, leading into the draft to get Trey Lance. So it was a lot going on. But thoughts on what Trey Lance is going to do? Because he got the weapons, but it's just a matter of figuring it out. I love Kittle. We both like Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. He really helped you quite a bit in fantasy last season.
Yes, he did. Shout out Deebo. Yep.
There's a lot, and obviously running back by committee. They're going to have Trey Sermon, hopefully coming back and being able to run well. Bringing back Elijah Mitchell, who was a big a surprise,
one right there.
A very surprising stud out the way, but nonetheless, an amazing defense. And Trent Williams is a 99 overall offensive line. It seems like he has everything in place to take over an already playoff team, literally a couple snaps away from another Super Bowl. Like, what are we expecting from Sir Trey Lance?
If you look at it just from everything around it, right, it kind of reminds me of Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Obviously, they made it further in the playoffs than the Chiefs did, I believe. I don't think Alex Smith made it to the.
No.
Yeah. I don't think he made it that far. But from the weapons to the coaching to the defense, like, they have everything. You said it. They have everything in place. It is now solely on, is Trey Lance the guy? And I believe it was Jerry Rice who came out and said he's ahead of his time. The hell does that even mean? Right? Like, what does that even mean?
We thought Lamar was ahead of his time.
Yeah, we can look back on, like, past players and be like, that man was ahead of their time. You know, like, it's easier to kind of do in basketball than football, I would assume. But, like, you can find some people, you know.
Yeah. Michael Vick is, like, the main prime example, obviously. Vick is the number one example.
Yes. Thank you.
Well beyond.
Yes. So if he is somehow beyond his time right now, and we're seeing all the quarterback play that's being Lamar, Joe, Patrick, you know, like, question marks of Tua is like, what is he gonna? If Trey Lance is beyond this time, this man is about to come out and just dominate everyone.
Yep.
In your 49ers will be the champions of this if he is as good as people are making it out to be. But it's a lot of question marks still. You know, only a few games, but in those games, he did look good. I believe his first drive he was in, he had a rushing touchdown. I believe.
Yes, I want to say he got a rushing touchdown on his first snap, but I don't remember where exactly.
Yeah, I remember it being like he got a touchdown pretty quick in his first. Yeah. I was also when he was drafted. Let's wait and see. I know you remember. I was very much let's wait and see because this is the NFL, right? Yep. You can be as prepared as you want, and then when you get in that game, out the door. Because what if they are hiding a coverage? What if they're doing something you did not expect, did not even know they could do because you didn't see it on any of the film or anything? Mm-hmm. How are you going to be in that game? And from what I've seen, there's been nothing to tell me he will be a terrible quarterback. But it's just very small sample size of what we got from him.
Yeah, the main thing is going to be all these rumors about reworking his throwing mechanics, I believe is what's being floated around right now, that they're trying to sort of fix his arm a little bit.
That is not what you want to hear. The last person I remember hearing that about was Tim Tebow, dude.
It is not obviously ideal, but again, that goes to the fact that he's only played 6 games, had that whole time off without playing. It's going to be really rough to see because this 3 first-round picks to move all the way up to 3rd to get him, where everyone for about a solid week or 2, it was Mac Jones is going to the 49ers. Nope, curveball, Trey Lance. So
his body, the athleticism, like it is unreal looking at him as a player. I really do hope it all comes together because that man might be ahead of his time, homie.
It is going to be super interesting to see what he turns out to be. He has sort of a potential Kyler, Lamar Jackson, just due to the running
man's upside. A foot taller than Kyler.
Just the running upside of being able, because he's not as big or as strong as Josh Allen. He just literally runs over everyone. Lance is a little bit more elusive, at least that's what it looks like on tape. So it is going to be big to see how he pans up because, like you said, he can go on and just dominate the rest of – but that's it. Chalk it up. The 49ers stay intact the way they've been over the last few years and they can stay healthy. Yeah. It's going to be a hell of a Super Bowl dynasty down there by the Bay, transitioning from basketball to football.
It will one piece they have been missing, the quarterback spot.
From another quarterback that has been banged up it was a little banged up. Justin Fields suffered a little bit of an injury during his rookie year. Played 12 games, but also had to deal with just weirdness going on. Obviously, bringing in
the Bears.
Bringing in Andy Dalton and having Foles there and just doing all this really weird stuff. Matt Nagy was there. And we kind of know how that
utilizing Allen Robinson.
And now Allen Robinson is gone. So it is interesting. He did still manage. They managed a 6-11 record. Detroit's still down bad. Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay should regress a little bit due to everything that they've lost.
You would hope.
That's true. That is true. But Justin Fields only able to get 7 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions on a 59% completion percentage. So not over the top with the arm, but his running upside, we did see quite a bit of plays. I think his leadership is without question. Kind of gives me a lot of Jalen Hurts vibes that we've talked about before. Very similar comparison, in my opinion. But another guy that a lot like Davis Mills, that offensive cupboard is rather dry if it doesn't hold up. I like David Montgomery in the backfield.
I agree.
A lot of people like Cole Kmet as a tight end, and Darnell Mooney has made quite a bit of a run over this last.
I got question marks on Mooney.
Of course, he is a little bit on the smaller side.
That's not the question mark about it. It's how he's used. Like every time I hear him, all I hear is he's a burner. Like just he runs down, but I want a little bit more. Like I want to see this man, and this is the year he will have the opportunity. So I'll reserve any type of judgment. I just show me more. Show me you can stay on because I picked that man up in fantasy. I did not like it. I did not like what I was seeing in those, man.
Yeah. Again, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, David Montgomery, they just traded to bring in N'Keal Harry. Also, drafted a rather older wide receiver, Velus Jones.
Yes.
Yeah. On the older side of the wide receivers that were available to draft, I think he's like the same age as DK Metcalf, if I'm not
24,
mistaken.
I believe. 24, 25, something like that.
Yeah,
yes.
he's like the same age as like some of these already pretty decently established wide receivers. So let's see.
But why not? It's a little experience, you know?
That's exactly what it is. The experience to like growth gap.
No experience in the NFL, but he's had multiple years of playing, you know.
Yeah, so we'll see how that turns out. Obviously, like I mentioned before, Matt Eberflus coming over from the Indianapolis Colts. Matt Eberflus? Eberflus?
Okay.
Eberfluber?
Okay. The coach, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously, getting Matt Nagy the fuck out of the building. Yep. It was desperate need. But I don't know. They're losing some pieces on that defense. The defense looks like it might be getting a little shaky. There's reports that Robert Quinn might be moving on up out of there also after obviously moving off of Khalil Mack. So it looks like they're going to be potentially in a bit of a rebuild shuffle mode. We'll see. 6-11 isn't horrible, but another year under center for Justin Fields with hopefully a better offensive setup. Maybe you can take that up to 8 or 9 wins. We'll have to obviously wait and see. The NFC is not as sturdy. Like I mentioned, Green Bay's a little bit on the and we'll have to see how your Saints obviously look. Atlanta doesn't look as great as they have. Carolina's in some turmoil. Seattle fully rebuilt. So maybe there's a way they can sneak a couple of extra wins going forward. But what are we looking at for Justin Fields this season? How are we feeling about the guy?
I'm not feeling too hot, man, to be honest. Honestly, I thought this was his 3rd year already. So I don't know. I just going into the draft, it was
we had him too.
His name, his name was it was not up there for like, yes, they're taking this quarterback, and then it was like, where's Fields going? All I ask is that the Bears put everything they have into Fields, right? Like, y'all have not had a quarterback prospect like this since exactly.
Jay
right?
Cutler.
Trubisky was solid. He won for him, but
I think he's Pro Bowler.
Yeah, been to the playoffs twice with them. I just new offense. You know, Fields has to learn it. I believe he will be able to pick it up quickly, you know. I hope. But that whole team as a whole, you're asking Justin Fields to carry a lot, to be honest. Montgomery, he's been off and on, and when he's on, he's really good. That man is really good when he's on. But when he's off, it's who is our running back, you know. And if your O-line isn't the best, your running backs aren't the best, your wide receivers aren't the best, gonna break it to you, but your quarterback is probably not gonna play the best with, you know, not quality pieces around him, but there are like some quality. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody right now, but like,
you're right on.
When looking at the Bears team compared to other teams, compared to some of these other quarterbacks teams, you know, it's like we see potential with those teams. With the Bears, I see maybe 4 wins, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I hear it. To bring to your point of quarterback not being able to perform, obviously, when he doesn't have what he needs. Quarterback rating of a 26.4, the lowest of the 6 quarterbacks that we are going to be talking about. The lowest. But that is 50 was average. His hit even half of that. So I don't know if well below average. But it does obviously some of the offensive schemes were dookie. Allen Robinson being exiled for some reason.
Why? Like, why would you not use your best wide receiver?
There is definitely a lot to...
Before we move on, let me ask you this. Lions, Vikings, Packers. We'll just do those because it's in the division. What do you think is, like, realistically their record against those 3?
1-5.
Exactly. And the one win is maybe the Lions, right?
They'll split with the Lions.
Maybe.
But
I could even see them going 0-6. Like that's just how the Lions, they looked nice last year. They got better. The Packers, yeah, they lost pieces, but they're still the Packers. And Minnesota, they potentially got better.
Yep.
And the Bears have just gone down, right? They've just lost pieces, brought in some to try and fill holes, but I don't think it's enough. And that's why I think 4 wins. Fields, everyone, hold judgment on Fields. It's going to be a bad year. Yep. When they get some pieces around him, then you can start judging him. All right? Same with Tua.
Hey, Tua's going to be judged all season long.
Yes.
All season long. But that's 3 up, 3 to go. We're going to transition over to the boy that has been sweeping the headlines as of these last few days. The second overall pick, Mr. Zach Wilson, out of the BYU, in making headlines for all the wrong reasons. But
are they though?
Exactly. Like, it's like, is it
everyone's
though?
Like, my boy.
And
everyone's like,
13 games with the Jets. They went 4-13, but they just had a hell of a draft. That was absolutely outstanding. Just their first 4 picks were just home runs out the park. So we'll see how all that translates. But it's going to really come down to what Zach Wilson is able to do, because we saw when he went down, the White, this random Mike White comes out of nowhere and lights the league up. White goes down, and in comes Josh Johnson and lights the league up. What the hell was in the water up there for everyone not named Zach Wilson? So crazy shit.
I know he wasn't as bad. As
9
good,
touchdowns,
as
11 interceptions, 55% completion percentage, and a 28.8 QBR. He's a
rookie, bro. We talking about quarterbacks that just played their rookie seasons. What do you expect? Okay,
he was some ass.
Not everybody can be Herbert. Not everybody
is ever going to be Herbert again.
And not everyone can come in here and just dominate. I will say with Zach Wilson, his confidence should be at an all-time high right now. This man has gained so many followers, so many fans, people. When he gets into that locker room, he posted his picture earlier, and Garrett Wilson was laughing. What a legend. People are like, what a legend. This dude's hilarious. The team is going to be behind him. That man can go in there. He can walk around. This is my team. We're here to win games. Let's win games. It looks like that offense has the potential to put up big yards. We saw it. Just be confident, Zach. You got it. And then maybe we're talking about the Jets walking into nope. Maybe next year for the playoffs.
The AFC has shaped out is going to be insane. But they have added a ton of pieces. Obviously, Zach Wilson. They also drafted Michael Carter, the running back, last year, to now drafting Breece Hall. Now they have 2 really young, probably up-and-coming running backs. I really do like that running back tandem. Bringing in Garrett Wilson, also out there on the perimeter to help be the number 1 wide receiver is going to be another interesting thing. And obviously everything they've done on the defensive side of the ball over the last few seasons, trying to just rebuild that defense. Zach Wilson is going to be under quite a bit of pressure, mainly due to the fact that it is the division that he's in. It is going to be really tough. Oh man, shout out Sam over from Dudes on the Couch. Zach Wilson is Mama hunted. Great.
Hey, he's hunting for touchdowns this season, all right?
I hope so.
He's got to impress all the mothers out there.
He is out here. Shout out to Sam. Make sure you guys check him out. Dudes on the Couch, dropping some gaming knowledge. I have collaborated with him already, talking video games. Super cool dude. Awesome channel. Just he's sadly a Falcons fan. That's the only thing.
That's
he's
terrible.
a Falcons fan, but it'll be all right in the ATL.
No, it won't. No, it won't.
Marcus Mariota's down there.
I don't give a damn.
But yeah, Zach Wilson, man, it is going to be. It's the division he's in. Tua, Mac, and then obviously the measuring stick that is Josh Allen in that division is going to just be really.
How have the tables have turned in that division, dude? Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Look what happens when Tom Brady leaves. It starts to flourish.
Everyone just, I know, right? It's kind of funny. More Atlanta, but the Falcons, they're gonna hurt this year.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Free my man Calvin Ridley, man. Free my boy Calvin Ridley.
Yo.
No cap. They did him dirty.
They did him dirty. But you know what? If they didn't do him dirty, they would have already freed him.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Down to our last two and staying in division, getting a bit close to home.
Take it away.
Up my guy, Mac Jones. That's right. Baby Goat is here. And it's going to be interesting to see how this season plays out because we do not quite have an offensive coordinator. I believe our time is going to be split between Joe Judge and Matt Patricia. I don't even want to think about it. All right. Hey, Big Nipples on Ice is here. What is up, my guy? Thank you for stopping by yet again.
Thinking about your offensive coordinators being Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, bro.
I know.
You grab the blanket, curl up in a ball, and just start crying. Because what?
Agreed. Calvin really should not be suspended for a year. But yes, it is very heartbreaking. He didn't even win. I thought
he won like $1,500, bro. Yeah, it was nothing crazy.
Nonetheless, Mac Jones and the New England Patriots are in for a hell of a season. It is a season from hell. Trust me, I have looked up and down at our schedule, and I am going to say it now. We shall regress just a bit. 10 wins was really nice in his first year, but we are looking at a nice 8 to maybe 9 wins. 7 would not be surprising to me. The end of the year is horrible. I believe Thanksgiving is basically when everything goes to shit. It's like Minnesota. Again, they put both of our Buffalo games at the end of the year for some reason.
Nice.
I believe we play the Raiders. We play some ridiculous games down the stretch that is really going to suck. But, yeah, Mac Jones.
Weapons around him.
No!
Devontae Parker.
No!
Devontae Parker.
He just failed at
Devontae Parker. Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, Jacoby Myers isn't.
We're banking on Jacoby Myers and Kendrick Bourne to save us, and Hunter Henry being basically the number one red zone option.
Jonnu Smith.
Continue to overpay for Jonnu Smith. I don't know what the hell the offense is going to do.
Ramondre.
We have like 70 fucking running backs. So
the Patriots, they're just a solid team. Like, top to bottom, they're solid. 8 wins, probably. Would it surprise me if they get 10 again? No. Hell no, because it's the Patriots. And for some reason, all y'all like to do is win up, and I don't like it. I just wish y'all would suck for more than 1 year. So maybe sophomore slump for Mac Jones.
We shall see. He had 22 touchdowns to go with 13 interceptions, so not a horrible ratio. 22 touchdowns led all rookies, which was fine. His 3,801 yards also led all rookies, which obviously is not bad. It had the highest QBR rating of all rookies at 50.9, so just dead average, right around 51. Average is obviously 50. So he's sort of just floating as an average quarterback right now, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's a rookie season, homie.
For a rookie season, obviously we're reiterating that. Not bad just being an average quarterback, but come that Buffalo game, the 3-pass game,
you're gonna get spanked.
No. The 3
y'all gonna get spanked
was the problem. I've been on record. It was not good to just have him throw 3 passes and run the ball 1,000 times. Because after that, everything went downhill. Losing to Miami, I believe he lost to Buffalo again after that, and then the atrocious playoff game, which just everything went all to hell. Defense folded tragically. Yeah, it's just I just see more heartbreak continuing. Not that stretch of the season where we were looking like Super Bowl contenders and everybody was
Oh yeah, I mean
back
that
on
defense was
Patriots.
insane.
I think it's going to be due to regression. We didn't add anything amazing. I don't think Parker's going to do anything. We'll see on Thornton. Everyone seems to be falling in love with Thornton coming out of the draft right now. Has a lot of speed. We'll see if Mac is able to push the ball up the field and how much he can. It's just not.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of growth happening this season. I for sure can see the sophomore slump coming our way for my
Or
boy.
hey, maybe he goes the exact opposite and just starts balling out.
I hope
never know. Yeah, you better hope for that.
I hope so because Josh Allen and the Bills looked like they were dead in the water for about 13 weeks, 12 weeks there. It looked like they were beatable, and then Josh Allen happened and probably would have went to the Super Bowl if it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes in those 13 seconds. He probably would have went
that into that game though will go down
as one of the greats.
Yes, that was one of the greatest games I'd ever watched.
Enough of Mac Jones and the Patriots because we're going to talk a shit ton of them throughout the season, obviously. And of course, we're going to talk about your New Orleans Saints at some point.
They suck.
Yeah, they do suck. But nonetheless, we're going to get to the last quarterback drafted out of last year's draft class. And it just so happened to go as the number 1 pick, but had arguably the ugliest season, maybe?
He's playing for the Jaguars, and their coach was kicking players at practice. Calm down. Man. The man actually has a head coach now, okay?
You're right.
All right.
Maybe. We'll see. Because we are here
with
the
won Super Bowl
lots of Trevor Lawrence and the ever so outstanding Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's just read some of his numbers off. 3,641 passing yards. Good for second behind Mac. Not bad at all. A 59.6 completion percentage. Not bad at all. Pushing into the 60s. I can't sit here and say he didn't have a ton of weapons because he had quite a bit of receivers already. 12 touchdowns to the 17 interceptions is something he's obviously going to need to scale back on. 12 touchdowns out of Trevor Lawrence is not what anyone had imagined. And a 33.5 QBR. Again, scale from 0 to 150 being average. He was quite below average. And even
what I'm noticing about all these quarterbacks.
More so inflated stat when you go to the quarterback rating. He even then was at 71.9.
Oh God.
Lower than
and Lance was at 90, whatever.
90, lower than Trey Lance at 97, lower than Mac Jones at 92, lower than Davis Mills, 88.8. And again, Fields 73 higher, and then Zach Wilson was just at 69.7, almost 70. So he did not quite knock it out of the park, even compared to a lot of the other rookie quarterbacks. But another offseason, another recollection of trying to grab everything on the market, I guess you can say. Obviously, drafting number 1, bringing in Walker on the defensive side of the ball. Brought in the Griffin twins last offseason, the cornerback and the linebacker, respectively, to try to bolster the defense, and overpaying for a very interesting wide receiver in Christian Kirk. Should be interesting to see how that pans out. Laviska Shenault didn't quite look as great as a lot of us had hoped. There is reports that he's looking better, apparently.
I saw something, tweet. It was like, that man had like the quietest 100-yard receptions or targets or something. Like, I'm solely blaming the Jaguars last season on Urban Meyer. I do not care, bro.
Urban Myers didn't even finish the goddamn season.
No.
The man got let go before the season had even ended. And if I want to say their first win came in London. I think their first win came in London.
I think it did.
I would have to fact check that. But Doug Peterson is now the man in charge. We'll see hopefully James Robinson was sort of restrained a little bit.
I was looking at the depth charts. They have him second to ETN. They have ETN starting on depth charts that I was looking at earlier.
we'll see. And then there you go, bring up the other running back, Travis Etienne. It's not for a lack of trying.
Yeah.
For Trevor Lawrence, he has a boatload of weapons. Let's be honest. He has quite a bit of weapons. It's going to see how it is. We got some. Sam says he's gonna choke some
games in Jacks.
Okay, I'll make sure I read that right.
Make sure I read that. You're gonna choke some games in ass, man. That's what they're gonna do. Because the Jaguars are ass, man. What do you expect? They've had a couple seasons where they've been able to put some good wins together and some quality wins, but they just do what they always do.
On Ice is going with the Bengals.
I hope so. If it ain't the Saints, I hope
more Bengals love. For those of you that don't know, Mr. Mamba here is a massive LSU head. He has a slight fandom to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase up there in Cincinnati. Don't let him fool you for all his love with the Saints.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
He Bengal at heart.
I will follow all of my players. All right. I'll follow all of them. All sports, basketball, softball, tennis, golf. If they went to LSU, I'm rooting for you in your life. Know that.
Thoughts on what we're getting out of Trevor Lawrence year
17-0.
No.
Every time we watch SmackDown on Friday, right, the news stays on for maybe like a minute, and it'd be like, oh, we're building something special here in Jacksonville. And then it'd be like, we're actually putting stuff together. And then it'd be like, Christian Kirk's really working out for us right now. Like, it looks really nice. So I'd say everything that I've seen on the news about the Jags, it's all been positive, right? It's nothing but positivity out of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And why the hell not, right? I'm very much a pessimist, but I'm also like, why not? Why can't they be better, right?
Russell Westbrook, why not?
Why not? Why not, man? They could win a championship this year, and he could be Finals MVP. Why not?
No.
Why not?
God, no.
Trevor Lawrence, though, do you still feel as though he's already a bust, overrated?
I don't think he's a bust. But, here we go. Speaking of overrated, we got that the Jags pickups have been a little overrated.
Just a little bit.
And our man Sam says anything is possible.
Exactly. Your player said it, homie.
I know. KG said it. Anything is possible. It is going to be interesting to see. I just have this odd feeling that he might have peaked. I mean, there's a good chance that he might have already peaked, and we've seen the best years of him.
Would be so tough.
I'm looking at guys like an RG3. I'm looking at an Andrew Luck. I'm looking at some of these guys who just burning red hot when they came into the league, and obviously throughout college. Trevor Lawrence hasn't quite had that sort of.
Andrew Luck had a great career
start, but it ended. So he should still be the quarterback of that team without a doubt.
Maybe they should have protected that man.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
I know it's funny because they just happen to get like a great offensive line, a great running back.
As soon as he leaves, as soon as he leaves being architect, they're like, we're going to put the team that you wanted around Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
All right.
It is interesting. I don't know. I think they are the third best team in the division. I think they will finish. They'll flip with Houston.
Okay.
Houston will be 4. They'll be 3. The Colts have a legitimate shot at winning that division.
Yes.
J.C. Jackson, other cornerback, Stephon Gilmore going up over there, already having a nice defense. Jonathan Taylor picking up a Matt Ryan, who's more so proven in the playoffs than Carson Wentz. I don't think he'll blow that Jacksonville game at the end of the year the way Carson Wentz did.
You never know.
But I don't think it's much for them. They shouldn't have killed him. Yeah, that's exactly what they did to Andrew Luck. They let him die behind that line of scrimmage. And I absolutely agree, Ice. We had the Bengals pick.
I gave him 4.
Yeah. If you go back and watch our old videos and we did our over under for the NFC North, AFC North, we had absolutely picked them to be the worst team in this division.
Yes,
we picked them to be god awful.
Yeah.
And then the season started, and Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase,
Joe Burrow,
Mixon,
yes, sir.
Boyd, Higgins. The defense
Yes.
stepped up when they had to. It was tough. And Sam, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring up how the Colts stole your quarterback, MVP winning quarterback, and
all I ask
almost
is
Super Bowl winning quarterback. If it wasn't for it was really the catch. It was that Edelman catch that was like, I don't know how the fuck we did it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know how the fuck we did it, but I'm so glad that we did it because I was at work so mad.
Matt Ryan, can you throw more than one touchdown to Pittman? He's probably going to be your number one receiver, so throw more than one touchdown to him.
I absolutely agree, but that is all 6 quarterbacks. So now, Mamba, I will ask you 2 questions. Oh, we have more. Falcons fucked up the relationship with. Yes, very true. The Deshaun Watson thing has ruined a lot, and I actually said this last week or 2 weeks ago. Everything that's happening with Deshaun Watson right now has massive implications on the history of the NFL going forward, from the way we view suspensions to the guaranteed money that we're now going to be throwing at quarterbacks. To just what the hell is even going to happen this season? A lot of people thought they could be Super Bowl favorites if they didn't have to deal with this. So a lot of shit is going to happen. Deshaun Watson's name has been interesting. And his name has Pitts in it. So he's only going to get yards.
It's true.
Poor Kyle Pitts only racked up barely anything. Poor guy. Matt Ryan's best season is legit. Yes, he did have one hell of a season, but he just has not quite had the defense to be backed up behind him over the last few years. So
it's okay.
Mamba, 2 questions. I'll start with the first question. In your opinion, of these 6 sophomore quarterbacks we just talked about, who is the potential guy to take this step backwards and not be as great as we thought they could be in year numero dos?
I think simply based on all the hype around him, it could be Trey Lance. It really could, and that would be because like he has the team around him, but he just can't put it together, right? I'm gonna say Trey Lance, but it could very well also be Justin Fields because that team is not it around him. Yeah, you got 2 answers. Deal with it.
You put it right there. Pretty basic.
Yeah.
Justin Fields feels like the guy that might have the most regression due to the fact that he's sort of learning a new system, has a lot of unproven weapons. So it is going to be very interesting to see. I would have to lean towards Justin Fields, but Sam is right there. Sam says if he had to pick one to regress, it would be Mac Jones. And that was almost my pick when obviously I was thinking about all this. I had Mac Jones penciled in. But the more I look at Justin Fields, I feel like he doesn't. I don't know.
Your biasness would not allow it.
And we have Ice, who also agrees with us on the Fields aspect, not in love with Fields' game. So we do have some names here. Agreement of Justin Fields. We've seen a Trey Lance and a Mac Jones. Does not surprise me. Mom had already said that there is a chance that he could have a sophomore slump. So Mac Jones, please don't do me like this. I'm fucking begging you. My heart can't take a bad season. I don't want to.
Mine definitely can. I want to watch the Patriots suck so bad.
Whatever. Before I ask you the next question, we have another comment coming in from Sam. Of course, Matt Ryan was going to get downplayed down there in Atlanta. There was no way he was going to get tons of love. But for some weird reason, over the last what seems to be like 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons, the Colts have been like the team everyone's been in love with lately. Like, oh, they got a great defense. They kind of remind me of Denver.
Yes.
They got a good defense. They got a good running back. They're figuring out this and that. They're like, it's just the flavor to be in love with right now. And it's been Indianapolis has been the team everyone's like salivating over lately.
Also, hear me out. hear me out. The Falcons suck.
Remember, Sam, don't take this the wrong way. This man is a Saints fan, so he is your bitter enemy at this point. But Baba, transitioning on to question number 2. On the flip side, the quarterback that can take the biggest leap heading into year number 2.
I won't say his name again because, like, that one's kind of obvious for the biggest jump. But I am going to say Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
I am buying into the hype that last season it was just a cluster, a dumpster fire. Again, just horrendous. And with an actual Super Bowl winning head coach. And this man bringing in some stability to the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence gets at least 7 wins.
At least
I'm saying at
7
least
wins. So
probably max 7 wins as well.
Okay, hey, I respect it.
Yes.
Sam also says you are not wrong. The Atlanta Falcons suck.
Hey, I got family that are Falcons fans, so
But Ice and Sam have it for me, man. I don't even really have to say it because they got me right here, man. We got Zach Wilson, and then we got Zach Milf hunting Wilson. Whichever way you want to spin it. I also agree with the comment section down below. I do believe Zach Wilson will take the biggest leap. I think they have a lot. I think the MILF hunting confidence is going to ooze into next season.
Yes.
He's going to have a different kind of swagger for himself. I don't think 4 wins is on the table for them. I think they probably had a chance of winning a few more games if he was able to be healthy throughout the duration of the season. As previously mentioned, he only got to play 13 games, but we did see some very interesting quarterback play while he was away, to say the least. But I think everything that they've done for him at this point, with the running backs I've mentioned before, and bringing in a legitimate number 1 receiver in Garrett Wilson, should help. Losing Jamison Crowder, I don't think is going to be that big of a hole. I know they still have Denzel Mims,
Elijah Moore,
Berrios, obviously another one. Braxton Berrios is another one. They also brought in CJ Uzama and Tyler Glunkin over from Minneapolis. So they brought him some legitimate pass catching tight ends. I think there is a legitimate chance that he takes a nice leap and shocks a lot of people. I am not so high on 7 wins. I think an extra two wins, probably around 6 for Zach Wilson and the Jets is realistic. Again, brought in a lot of pieces for that defense also. Just bulking up all around over the last 2 seasons. And it's really time to see what Robert Saleh can do with this team. He seemed to be the right coach and the right fit for this team. It's just going to be a matter of them all performing and, pushing to that next level. And I am rather excited, but it does suck to say because I'm a Patriots fan. And I don't need him stepping up. And I don't need Josh Allen doing what he does. And if everything is said to be believed about Tua, he's going to have an amazing season. So it does not
better
look
than Patrick Mahomes. What we're hearing.
My teams. And yes, I agree. The Jets front 7 was legit. They have a lot of nice pieces. Mosley, Quinn and Williams. They added Sauce Gardner.
To the secondary.
They added Johnson in the draft also. They have a legitimate defense. A lot of really good pieces on that defensive line and in that secondary. Now it's going to be interesting to see. I'm definitely all for that. That's right. You are a Utah Jazz fan. Of course. How could I have forgotten? I know last week we talked about Donovan Mitchell. We thought you should keep him. It don't look like you guys want to keep him.
Nope.
But
nope.
Anyways, that's going to do it all for us here at RGTP. Make sure to tune in on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be talking about all the spectacular wrestling that has gone out this week, covering all types of news. Hopefully Vince McMahon doesn't do any bullshit-ass shenaniganry going forward. We'll see how that goes. And then tune in next week here when we bring back some more sports takes. And we'll see if Donovan Mitchell is gone. We'll see if Kyrie is gone. We'll see if Bradley Beal's been traded. We shall see if Kevin Durant lands in Laker land and blows up the internet all over the place. Thank you for Ice, My guy, you have a good
Peace
day
out.
over here from RGTP. Thank you, Sam, for tuning in
See you
here.
later.
Repaying the favor. You did not know, but I did check out your Mario Strikers review on Spotify. I listened.
Nice.
Don't
Nice.
worry. I appreciate you, Sam. But that's going to do it all for us. Mamba, let the folks know at home know what they got to do.
Reserve judgment. It'll make you feel better in the long run. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Noti's on.
Be here Friday.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.